what did you do? And what did you do? And what part did you play? She's mine. Like she's mine. But what if she's ours? You know? The debate currently is about the ownership of the training and the ownership of the children when it comes down to when they make collegiate teams. It's not so much that the kids have been trained, it's just who trained them the best and who has trained them the longest, who taught them what skills to be able to make these certain teams. And I don't feel like that's up for debate. They made the team. Congratulations, we did it. Welcome to the Major Business Podcast, where we talk all things HBCU dance, and I'm talking strategy, structure, leadership, performance, and training. And of course, and as always, I'm your host, Vershawn Lee. And listen, we're going to go ahead and get into a real good conversation today, and it's just us. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. So, what I do want to talk about today is something that has been going on the internet, and it's funny because I've made a post. I made a post about this earlier this year, maybe last year, and I think it's something to be celebrated. But apparently, there's been some back and forth about ownership. All right. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So basically, when dancers are training, okay, let's just start there and I'm gonna ease into it. When dancers are training, there's a thing where sometimes they move through different phases or they like say move or change locations altogether. Sometimes they are hopping, studio hopping, okay, because that's the term we use. Sometimes they are chasing clouds, right? They are trying to find the place that's going to give them the most attention. However, it lands, okay? At the end of the day, how we feel about the adults involved in the situation because the adults are in charge of the matriculations, right? So as the things are going and moving forward, the adults are kind of spearheading that process. Now, sometimes you have dancers that will be more vocal and they will say, I want to do X, Y, and Z. But other times you have the parents that are also chasing the things. And I mean, oftentimes they're living vicariously through the children. And so they are pushing the agenda as to where they go, how they go, and in any given circumstance, it's not healthy to a degree, but you do have some changes that are made that are out of, the family's control, right? If the family moved to a different location, these things are understandable and there's a respect level there. But leaving because you're not being fed also could warrant you know what? That's true. You should move or go elsewhere. Um and there are programs unfortunately that are not feeding the kids or training the kids like they should be trained. And so once parents get wind of it, which I hope most can be able to tell, when they're and we've had enough conversations, y'all, for y'all to understand what is good and what is not. We've had way too many conversations. Roll on back to several of the episodes where even down to the college coaches are saying like there's there are very show and prove telltale signs that are, screaming at you, and you continue to move forward as if this is going to be something great. So, kudos to the parents that are moving the kids to where they need to be fed like they should or trained like they should. Now, again, the debate currently though is is about the ownership of the training and the ownership of the children when it comes down to when they make collegiate teams. So I made a post and I was hoping that more people would more coaches, high school coaches would join in to say or to claim their kids, right? Because there is a thing where you can say, hey, all high school coaches should have at least a few, that they have trained well enough to make a collegiate team. We all have a pool of kids that we can list off the bat. Well, we should. Well, there's this discrepancy currently is not so much that the kids have been trained, it's just who trained them the best and who has trained them the longest, who taught them what skills to be able to make these certain teams. And I don't feel like that's up for debate. I don't care if you were in my program for a month or whatever. If we made a connection and I was able to get you to believe that you were a great dancer and that you belong in this space, whether I taught you a skill or not, I'm still going to say great job. And I'm still going to repost when you make said team, the collegiate team. And I'm still going to celebrate you because, yes, I was a part of that process because at the moment when I met you, you did not believe. Right. So I did have some part in that if that's my story. Okay. So I don't think people are, and I don't think it's necessary either to know why these people were apart. What did you do? And what did you do? And what part did you play in the stories or the training for the collegiate dancers? But I just think it's a bit much. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that shouldn't be the focus. And people shouldn't have to continually challenge people should not continually challenge the people that are claiming to have had a part in or played a part in these dancers' lives. I just don't feel like it's necessary and it's becoming overly a lot. It is. And I just don't feel like people should have to be explaining themselves. If I celebrate this person because I met them from another coach, or if I don't care if I watched them and I was a fan from Instagram or from TikTok. If I repost it and celebrate the child, just let me repost and celebrate. I mean, but I maybe it's bothersome to the people who made the most difference or trained them the most, or maybe where they started. I don't know. Maybe they cared the most, and that's why they feel like, oh, this she's mine. And then somebody else is like, she's mine. But what if she's ours? You know? Like what if? And I just from teaching alone, I learned a very valuable lesson as let me see, maybe I was like mid 30s when I learned this lesson while teaching elementary school. And what I found out from mentoring the kids that I was teaching dance to, which they moved on to learn from somebody in middle school, and then they learned from somebody in high school. We all played a part in that process. We all had played a part. So if I celebrate, the middle school person celebrate, the high school person celebrate. If they went to two middle schools and two high schools, and there was five of us celebrating, and five of us can say we played a part. Five of us can claim this child. But the lesson that I learned was that you can plant the seed, but you may not always see the end result or the see the flower bloom. You just may not get to see it. Or you may not see the in between process. So you didn't, you watered the seed, you planted the seed, you watered the seed, someone else watered the seed, and then someone else watered the seed started to bud. Okay, great. Now there's this blossom flower, and then now they're matriculating to another level. Now it's college. They made the team. Congratulations, we did it. We did it. It was a collective effort. So, what about the village? Like, are we not acknowledging the village? Because that's important to every child. There's a village, or should be, with every child. So I just feel like condemning people or lessening people or making them feel like, or questioning them, um I think it's too much. Now, should people be claiming to have done something and they did not? Or if people played a damaging part, right? If because I've heard many stories about coaches or teachers, dance teachers, or people in general, adults. There are some bad adults, right? And they have played a real good part in damaging the dancers, right? So when you have that, and then you go say, oh, that's, or you go to claim their success, yeah, you sit down, you didn't do anything. As a matter of fact, the next person had to build them up based on how much you tore them down. And that's where the unfortunate part comes in. And people are not willing to admit when they were wrong or when they were broken. And when I say people, I'm talking about coaches. There are some coaches that are broken, and or dance teachers that are broken. And so instead of getting the help that they need, they take it out on the children. And this is both men and women. Because also, earlier this year, I had a debate online with someone about them specifying that there were women, right, that were tearing the kids down. And and I think they were saying that because it's majority females. I mean, like majority of the dancers are females, but there are some male coaches, a lot of them, and a lot of them don't approach coaching like from a heart, like heart work, right? They make it more of a personal vendetta to, like, this is how I'm gonna get back, or this is how I'm going to battle my friends. Like, it's a coach battle, my kids versus your kids. And it becomes more, and while dance is a sport, this is becoming more like a, I don't know, it's a different type. It's on a different level. So, so yeah, there are both men and women that are damaging kids in the process of coaching and of teaching dance. So I will say I do agree with those that say that part. So you have people that are claiming the success of kids that did not play a positive part or a positive role in the matriculation of the kids and the success of them making a collegiate team. But again, there has been too much debate about claiming the kids, and I just wanted to kind of give my 2 cents on that, because again, there should be some acknowledgement of collective, and there should be acknowledgement of team work. And I've even seen very productive collective efforts when it comes to the village, right? So I've seen dancers say, start taking dance at X, Y, and Z. They decided to take a different route, and now they're doing, say they started in a community program of some kind or a dance studio, and now they have left that place and decided to just focus on the program at their school. Okay, well, the school coach and the community coach, because they both play a part and they both want to see the child do well, they get together to discuss a plan. This is what she needs to work on X, Y, and Z. Now, can the coach, the high school coach, see what needs to be worked on if they're great? Absolutely. But because they decided to come together for the betterment of the child, then this particular child was able to have the best of both worlds. I still love this coach, but I have a new coach, and now they come together. It's just like parenting, right? When you have a good co-parenting relationship, the child thrives. And so very much the same when it comes to the coaching. Kids get excited when coaches are getting along that they love. I love her, I love him, her and him, and they're gonna come together, they're gonna rally together for my good. Like, that's, I mean, so imagine how that makes them feel. And And so if that were to be the case and people didn't bicker about it, um it the end result would be so much more beneficial to all parties, because there are some kids that will quit dancing because of the damaging relationships, or because people don't get along and there's a tug and pull. And so now I'm just, never mind. This coach is saying this about that, and this coach is saying this about that, and they can't deal, right? That's too much, especially if they already have something going on at home, or there's already issues with school, or just in general, right? So I just want to encourage all of you to be mindful of the things that you're saying in front of the children, the relationships that you're choosing not to make, or partner people that you're choosing not to partner with due to jealousy, right? If a child changes to a different program, at the end of the day, it is not about the adult, it is about the kids. And if we aren't here for the kids, what are we doing? Like, what are we here for? So let's just be mindful of how we are carrying ourselves in these spaces. Let's be mindful of how we are conducting ourselves online in front of these kids, because they see it. Let's just allow them to see us in a more collective, positive village type of space. Like, allow them to see us work together so they can see what's possible, and they can do it too, right? Then they see what's to come. And when they, become coaches and things, or dance teachers, they see exactly what to do. Let's model the behavior that we want to see from these kids. And so yeah, yeah, let's stop tearing down the people that are making the difference, that are claiming the kids, because what if there was a village, right? So that's my little 2 cents on the situation. Yeah. Let's do better, y'all. Love y'all.